Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, a while ago, the girl who swirls posted a video where she was talking about African women dating and marrying Chinese men. And in that video, she said that that was the better deal for African women. She talked about how these Chinese men are hardworking. She talked about how these types of arrangements are mutually beneficial for the African woman and the Chinese man. She said that they are choosing the better deal by dating and marrying these Chinese men. She said that they are doing what is best for them by dating and marrying these Chinese men, essentially suggesting that these Chinese men are a better option for African women than African men, suggesting that somehow these Chinese men are some kind of savior for African women. Now, I want to take time to talk about this. And the reason why I'm talking about this now is because I was on Facebook a couple of days ago and I came across an article. I will post a link to that article in the description box so that you can read it for yourself. But in that article, it talked about a growing trend in Uganda where you have these Chinese men promising these African women that they're going to marry them. And what they end up doing is getting these African women pregnant, and then they leave these African women and their biracial children behind to fend for themselves, leave them struggling, trying to take care of themselves and their families while these Chinese men go back to China and have no concern with that woman that was chasing them and that was in a relationship with them. They have no concern for their biracial children. That's the situation. Now, they said that in this particular district in Uganda, and that district is called Oyam, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name of the district. Hopefully, I'm not mispronouncing the name. But in that district, over a dozen women have been in that situation where they got impregnated by one of these Chinese men and they completely abandoned them. So this shatters that myth that these Chinese men are necessarily that better option for African women. It shatters this myth that they are the better deal for African women. And the fact that you would have an African American woman present these Chinese men as if they are the better deal, I mean, it speaks to how brainwashed some of our people are. Here you have these Chinese people coming into Africa, exploiting the resources and the people, but yet and still, these invaders, and that's what they are for all intents and purposes, these invaders are being looked upon as saviors for African women. No, they not only have they taken the resources of Africa, exploited the people, now they are taking the women. And that's what colonialism looks like. By celebrating this foolishness, you are celebrating the defeat of African people. You are celebrating somebody else exploiting the resources and the people of Africa. But this is how brainwashed people operate. This is how people who are trapped in a sunken place think. So, again, I mean, you have these people promoting this idea that somehow anything that's not black is somehow better than black people. Any man that's non-black in the minds of these swirlers is a better option for black women. And that just tells you how thoroughly brainwashed they are. You know, they are so brainwashed that they believe positive stereotypes about outside groups while they thoroughly embrace negative stereotypes about their own black men and black community. That is the mentality of people who suffer from self-hatred. And that's what this sister suffers from. And she promotes these pipe dreams, selling our sisters false hope and half truths, just like any other charlatan here on YouTube. But yet and still, these women are so gullible, so easily manipulated, so easily exploited that they can't see it. But I just had to share these views, man. It's a disgrace. And, you know, part of me also thinks about it on this level, man. I mean, how can African men really expect these African women to respect them when they allow these foreigners to be the ones building up their technology, building up their infrastructure, when it's the African man who should be the one doing all of that? We shouldn't be relying upon foreigners to build the African continent. That's something that African people need to be the ones doing. You don't have foreigners in China building China's economy. China is a world power because they're doing for self. They're building their own infrastructure, their own economy, and they're getting it to a point where they are competing with the United States. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard for a woman to respect a man that's weak. And unfortunately, too many of our brothers are weak. We shouldn't, be in a situation where we are dependent. The African continent must be independent. It must be powerful. And if we want to earn the respect of the sisters, we have to take control over our environments. We have to be the proprietors and the protectors in our communities, both in Africa, which is at home, and abroad in places like America and elsewhere. So with that, I'll say peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Tell me what you think. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Peace.